Good morning and welcome back to the QOL Trading pre-market. It is Monday, June 29th, last trading session before the holiday, shortened week. And we've got jobs report landing early on Thursday, so there's a lot to set up before the open. If you're new here, this is where we build a game plan before the bell. We map out opening range, we mark all of our levels and trade plans. So we try to take the emotion out of everything so you can just kind of trade smarter and not be emotional about your trading. Do me a favor before we get started. Hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. And you won't miss the early morning setups at 8:30 every day. So let's get into it right now. Economic data is light for today on Monday, and Tuesday. Let's see what we got on Tuesday. Tuesday we've got month end, quarter end, which just balances the flow into China. The China PMIs and German CPI international slide. So that may impact some things there. And then Wednesday, this is the first heavy one. We got ADB private payroll and ISM PMI manufacturing, along with Fed Chair Kevin Warsh speaks at 9:30 Eastern time in Portugal, I believe. So it's important to take a note to his tones. And then Thursday, June jobs report. Let me see here. Average earnings, non-farm unemployment, unemployment rate, unemployment claims. That'll be just before the open on Thursday, and then Friday, it's a bank holiday because of 4th of July. So, anyways, let's get into our levels here. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, like this video, and we'll start with. Let's get over here and start with the VIX. The VIX is definitely flat. Like this, pull back on the VIX. Like to get it, below the $17.59. That'll be a good level here. Kind of close this gap up that we had here from the 22nd of last week. Ideally, I'd like to get us back down here to this $15.74. That would just kind of normalize things. However, you got to pay attention. We still have these gap downs. One from April 8th at $25.74, and the last one from March 30th at $30.34. So watch those levels there. But we are consolidating right now, so things are flat, and just kind of wait and see what's happening out in the Middle East right now. So let's get into crude, and then we'll get into the broader markets here. Crude falling nicely. We've been talking about the $67.83 a barrel. It's a gap up from February 27th. We'd like to see, I personally would like to see it fall below that, so you can keep continuing to get this relief at the gas pumps. The prices at the gas pumps right now are falling. However, you still have to pay attention. We got a gap down from June 15th, $84.34 a barrel, and then there's also another gap down from May 22nd at $96.99 a barrel. So we'd have to watch those elevated levels here. But we are below the 20-day moving average, sitting at 73.84, which is good. Again, I'd like to see us kind of stay and hover at this $67.83 a barrel. So that would be great. Let's see here. We have got, sorry about that. All right, let's get over to the ES. So ES made a nice little comeback a little bit on Friday, but we're still kind of consolidating here. I do like this level that we are above, this 74.55 level. Probably going to be battling with the high on Friday. That'll probably be your land in the sand. I think if you can get above the 74.98, you can push into 75.15, 76 level, which is a 20-day moving average. And then if you can get above that, it could be a nice little speed zone in here. And then if you can get a hold above the 20-day moving average, I think you could start pushing back into the 75.99 level, which will probably be You probably get a little resistance up in that level right there. That's going to be a psychological number, the 7,600 level, right? Psychological. On the downside, got to hold the 74.2744. If you lose that, you probably come back down here to the 74.1558, where you may get some support down there. It's a midline regressional trend line that I have here. And then you do have the close here from Friday, 73.9725. I would say it may be a little choppy these next couple days. We do have a shortened week, so maybe people may be taking off early, so pay attention to the volume. Remember, you got to watch your volume down here, not your animation up here, right? I would say today you're going to want to, if you can stay above, excuse me, that's a bad one. 74.6105 is going to be your line in the sand for me. Get rid of this one. That's your high from Friday. If you can maintain that, you can continue to get the upside. If you lose it, you may flush a little bit. You do have the 50-day moving average sitting at 74.4725. So it is good that you regain that level, but could be, kind of trapped in between the 50 and the 20. So just watch your volumes today. It could be a choppy week. So just, we don't have any data, so trade your levels today. When you don't have any economic data, the levels, you want to definitely stay on top of your levels. However, you do have to be concerned about any kind of news that comes out geopolitically right now, especially with what's happening, with the strong verbiage that's happening out in the Middle East here. So you got to watch those levels here. Same thing on the SPY. You're going to have to line in the sand 736.53. If you hold above that, then you could push into the 20-day moving average sitting at 743.60 for today. On the downside, if you lose Friday's high, I think you pull back into this weekly low at 731.75 from May 12th. Also, it sits right on top of this regressional trend line that I have here. If you lose that, maybe here's the close from Friday. So you're pretty elevated, right? So kind of a gap up from Friday. 728.99 would be a level if the market pulls back into. And then if you lose that, I don't mind this level down here, 724.68. And it's also sitting right above the June lows. So you want to make sure we don't lose June lows today, people. So watch those levels right there. Watch your volumes. Let's get over to the NASDAQ. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button. Like this video. NASDAQ here. If you can regain this 29,923 level, I think you're going to have a nice little speed zone. I'm actually going to remove this this price level right here. You'll probably push into this 20-day moving average. And then again, if you can get above this 20-day moving average, here's another speed zone right here that you can push into this 30,545. I know that's quite a bit of ways, but over time, you can watch the levels right there. I would be cautious at this 29,923 level. It's a low from June 17th. And so you could see we had this low here, it bounced off it nicely. Then we lost the low. And then you saw here on Thursday, we popped up here and it respected that low. So this is the perfect definition of a break and retest level right here. Even though we popped above it, you could see that this level means something here, right? Because we got above it, pre-market tried to hold, and then big flush came, and then later on in the afternoon tried to regain it and then lost that level. So I'm not thinking long until you can at least regain this 29,923 level. On the downside, you want to hold this 29,507.67. And then, of course, the 50-day moving average sitting at 29,297 rather. We do have a point of control below that 50 days sitting at 29,044. And then if you lose that, unfortunately, we could probably be making our way down here to this 28,512 level, which is June's low. We want to make sure we hold our June's. We don't want to lose June's low right now, people, right? Ideally for today, if we can regain this 20-day moving average, then we can start continuing to push higher, right? Let's get over the Qs, and then we'll get over to the Mag 7, and then we'll do some SpaceX and Tesla, and then we'll get on with our day. Qs, similar, right? Same thing on the Qs. Line in the sand is going to be Friday's high. We're just kind of losing it right now, so I would say same thing on this. Got to watch the 7-11-10. It's a low. You want to hold that level. Let me get it out here a little bit here. The Qs are a bit sloppy here. However, it is trending downward a little bit, so you got to watch that. Same thing on the Qs. I'm not looking long until you can at least regain this 20-day moving average, 724.76. If you can break above that and hold that, I like our pushback up into the all-time high, 748.65. On the downside, must hold this 50-day moving average at 702.79. If you lose that, you're going to come down to that point of control we have open at 700 and change, $723. Here's this point of control sitting from June 11th, right? And so then if you lose that, then you're going to start pushing down towards June lows at 686.37. If you lose that, here's your April high of this year at 668.90, which would be a decent level to look for some longs there. But you can see kind of consolidating here right now, stuck in between the 50-day moving average sitting at call it 702.79, and the 20-day moving average sitting at 724.76, right? Okay, let's keep moving, people. Let's get over to, let's do the Mag 7 here, people. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. We have got NVIDIA here. NVIDIA is just same thing, kind of consolidating here. Here we are stuck in between the 200-day moving average at 190.64 and the 100-day moving average at 196.24. Those are your lines in the sand for me. If you can regain the 100 at 196.24, I think you're going to create a nice little speed zone here, push into the 200 level, 202 level, and then if you can regain that, then you can go to that 207.76 level. On the downside, if you lose the 190, I think I got a 188 level for NVIDIA. It's not on here right now, but 188 would be a level for that next if you lose that 200-day at 190. So let's get over, keep moving here. Apple's been getting its teeth kicked in for a little bit, so let's fan out a little bit. Yeah, so these big speed zones here on Apple right now, I don't mind them actually. So I would say for Apple, if you can get regain that 285 level, you're going to quickly move back up into that 300. You could, right? All probabilities could move back up into that 300 level. I don't mind that level at all. And then you would get some psychological resistance there because it's an even number. So let's let me just go back to our 15. So here's the 100. You got to hold that 276.15 level. If Apple flushes to that, that's your 100-day. You can see how it supported that nicely on Friday. 285.91, you want to get above that. But then you've got this headwind here of this 50-day moving average at 291.61. Above that, 298.29 would be your target for your 20-day moving average. Here's on Apple. Let's keep moving. Meta had some good bounce here. Came down to this open point of control that we had here on April 30th of 2025, 539.79. I think I did a video on that a long time ago saying that it needed to pull back to that level in order for us to start getting some upside here. I would say same thing, line in the sand. A lot of the stocks are going to be line in the sand from Friday. Got to maintain 556.88. In order to continue to push higher. You do have that close here. It kind of wicked down to that close of 550.25. So if it does flush out, you want to hold that level. If you lose that level, I think you come back down here to a close that was from, I think, Thursday. Thursday's close could be 542.84 before you can get some support. If you do continue to push higher, I think that, first level you're going to get, I would say, 567. I like this level better. 572.24. If you push there, you may get a little resistance, and if you plow through that, then you're moving to the 583.29 level. Right? Great. Let's move over to Google. Google is another one that's been getting beaten on a little bit. I think Google is just kind of consolidating here right now. Let's look at the 4. Clean that up a little bit. So I don't mind Google. I think this is going to be the level for Google. Got to get above the 342 level. If you lose the 342 level, I would say you're going to get some support right here in the 330 level. And then if you lose 330, you're probably coming down to $319 for your next level of support, right? Let's get over here. Let's get some clean point of controls. So here on a macro level here, you've got the 100-day that's holding up at 336.87 for you. If you can get above the 342.43 level, I like our push back up into the 358.71 level, which is a 20-day moving average, and the 50-day moving average also. So you got to understand, people, when you're below moving averages, you're not saying to yourself, oh, I'm going to be all in longs, right? So you've got a 100-day moving average, which is holding for you nicely. You have the 200-day moving average sitting at 313.34. Ideally, you want to get above all the moving averages to make you confident that you're in the bullish market here. But you can see right here is a big sell-off. So in this area right here, you could, if you can regain this, I'm going to say right, if you can regain the 349.69 level, this becomes a nice little speed zone back push up into that 20-day moving average. If you lose 334.69, 330 is going to be your first line of defense, and then if you lose that, then 319.39, and then you've got the 200-day at 313.34, right? So these levels I'm going over, people, are all daily levels for intraday trading, not long-term. I do give you a little bit of a holistic look on the long-term, but this is for day trading levels, right? So let's get over here to Amazon. Amazon, we are messing around with the 100-day moving average sitting at 235. Want to regain, here's Friday's high right here. It's kind of a big wicky Friday high. I think this close here at 232.77. You got a little bit of a gap up here. I don't even know if that you consider that being filled with this flash wick down here. But 232.07 could be a level of support if it flushes to. And then, of course, down here, we've got a point of control level at 230.91. And then below that, you've got a close here from Thursday sitting at 226.92. On the upside, if you can continue to push right now, and you can get above this 236.03 level, I think you can push into that 244.03, which is a 20-day moving average. I think if you lose, though, if you lose this level here, this close from Thursday at 227.01, I think 223.23 is a pretty decent level of pullback longs. It's a high from December, the last trading day of the year last year, 223.23. Okay, that's going to be that. Last Microsoft one, I think I was talking to my brother about Microsoft. This was the line in the sand here we wanted here. This 250 level pullback came back there on Thursday beautifully, and we are up about $28 since. So a good thing for Microsoft. Microsoft needed a life jacket, right? I mean, look at this nastiness for Microsoft. Nice, good level of pullback here. I think if we can go back on a day, maybe I can clean it up a little bit for us a little bit. So I showed you where I got my levels from. You have to go back 3 years, maybe. So this is the level. This is how I came up with my 350 level on Microsoft. I had a nice regressional trend line from the highs, and I actually said there, this midline regressional trend line would be a good level. Now, right now, what's important for Microsoft, you're gonna probably get a little resistance up here at this 291 level, right? But this pullback, is what we were talking about right here. You saw the market pop up here, and you saw a big wick here, so that told you there was a lot of volume that came in here, and then you finally broke that level, right? Came down here, supported the level one more time, and popped up. So this is a beautiful break and retest level right here. So it broke it right here, came back and retested it here, saw big volume come in, and then it pushed higher, and now we came back and tested this volume again. Now that being said, if we if we flush back to this level again, if the level becomes weaker, the more the market hits it. So if it hits this level once more, we could flush back. We could flush down to this 322 level. But right now, this 350 level seems to be holding like a superstar. So that's fantastic. So hopefully you can get some push here. And if you can regain, I'm going to say if you can regain this June 15th high sitting at 401.75, I think you can get a nice little speed zone pushing back and start regaining all this sell-off that we've had here for Microsoft. But great response here. Good wick here on this level here. And we're looking at a weekly chart here. So this is great data that you have right here, right? So you could see at the beginning of the week, obviously it flushed down, but this big wick right now is showing that the buyers are finally stepping up here after this nastiness. You did have a week of this and then a big fake out, but now the buyers are stepping back up again right now. So I think a big level to regain, you're going to probably want to regain the weekly high from last week. That would be a good start. I would say 381.16. You can regain that level, then you're pushing up into the 400 levels. All right? Okay, great. That is the Mag 7, people. Now let's get into SpaceX before we get into Tesla. SpaceX consolidating right now. Here's the opening trade, IPO 150. I would say right now it could be consolidating in this range here between 150, 165. If you lose the 150 level, you've got the opening low at 135, right? So we did break above this regressional trend line. Obviously we do not have a lot of data on it right now. And we do know that after 6 months, the lockout period is going to be done. And then there's going to be, some real volatility in here. But, as I noted, the float is not high for this stock. There's 75 billion. It's 1/5 of the float of NVIDIA. So you have to watch. The volatility on this, right? So right now we're looking at a 4-hour chart. If I break down to a 15-minute, you can see some levels a little better here. I would say, you could see how it's responding here to the 150 level. So if it pulls back, you could probably use that level again. However, if you lose that 150 level, there's a good push that you could get down here to 135. If everything gets weak, the 135 level could come into play. On the upside, if you push 165, where we have 15-minute, let's go to point of controls. And let's manage that. Point of control right here, that's still open. Excuse me, I'll fix this for us. Sitting here from the 22nd at 165.52, right? So if you regain Friday's highs, I think 158.67, you can push it to that 165.52. On the downside, I think you're going to need to hold this 150 level. If you lose this 150 level, I think you could get some flush. I think you can get some pretty quick flush, actually, down to 135. So watch the levels on SpaceX for today. And now let's get into Tesla. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. So Tesla had a great little push on Friday. And today, your line in the sand is this 385.16. If you push and you can hold about 385.16, I think we can make a push into this 191 to 193 level before you get a little resistance there. On the downside, you do have a little bit of a little tiny bit of a gap up here, 378.05 from the close from last week, right? So Tesla closed at 379.71, and then if you lose that, you got the 378.05, which is kind of a gap up level that I have there, and then of course you got to close here from Thursday. That if you do lose this 378, I think this will probably come into play, 375.10. I'm actually going to mark that on my charts right now. And I'm going to say close from Thursday. So 625 close. All right, that's done. I'll make it a double. There we go. So I would put those levels on your charts right now. On the upside right here, you do need to get above this 385, what do we got there? 385.16 level, right? It's a high from April 30th. If you can get above that level, then I think we could continue to push. I thought it was going to hold there on Friday, and then we had the sell-off, right? So pretty decent level here for a speed zone. Again, the speed zones are when you have a one-directional here, not a lot of buyers that are coming in. So it could be people closing out positions and taking on new positions. And so the speed zone is the people that took on new positions and then start to identify that their probabilities may be off and they may be wrong, and then they have to start covering. So a little bit of a short squeeze. We had a short squeeze here on Friday, right? So, in the morning it was down right here, and then we did get above this 3, and then that's our current gap up here. But we did, once we got above, I was going to say, once we got above this low here from the 24th, right on the open, that would have been a good level. I did not have that on the charts. If I had this on the charts, it would have been a fantastic level to push through, right? But you can see right here, the market did pull back, and then now we have this little gap up here. So I would not be surprised if you do get that pullback to close this little tiny gap that we have, 378.05. It very well could close before the market opens. We had 35 minutes till the market opens. And I've seen this before where all of a sudden you start licking your chops saying, oh, I've got a little gap down here. So if the market pushes, I could take a short down back to this gap, and then, literally 5-10 minutes before the market opens, it flushes out, and then it closes your gap, and then you're done. But Watch these levels. 385.16 is your line in the sand today. If you can get above that, you can get that push into 390. If you lose this 378, 375.10 is your first line of defense, a close from Thursday. And then below that, 371.22 is a low from from Thursday as well, right? And then you've got this 367.71. It's May of 2025 monthly high, and you could see how that responded in pre-market on Friday, and it held like a champ, right? So that's a level that you like. Anyways, let's get into what we're going to do for today as far as our trading. So if you are trading SpaceX today, they have weekly expiration. So I would put July 2nd. So this is going to be Thursday's expiration because the markets are closed on Friday. And I would start 160 calls and then a 150 put. So you're kind of right in the middle of things, right? So you're sitting right in the middle of the stand. You got 5 days for your theta. This is where they closed at $2.95 on Friday. You could see that we are above by $3. So this will open up in the $3 range. And then on the put side, your 150 puts closed at $4.40. And because we are elevated by $3, this will probably open up in the $3 range too. So I anticipate that these premiums are going to open up pretty similar to one another, right? So if this opens up in the mid-low threes, this may open up down to the mid-low threes as well. And you have 5 days or 4 days of theta because the markets are closed on Friday, right? So let's get into Tesla, and then we will close off with talking about our new indicator here. Tesla, I'm going to start off with today's expiration date because Tesla is one of the stocks that has 3 weekly expiration dates. So I'm going to start with today with a 380 call, so in the money, and then I'm going to start with 380 puts, so almost in the money on the puts. You can see where they closed on Friday on the put side. They closed at $4.80, and we are elevated by maybe $1. So this will probably open up maybe in the, I would say, high threes, as well as these 380 calls. So probably open up very similar as well. Very tight on my strike price because they are expiring today. So depending on how whippy and volatile these premiums are, I may switch my expiration date to Wednesday, after 9 o'clock, 9:15, 9:30, depending on how it whips around, right? But that's what I'm going to do for the strike prices for today. And then, lastly, before we go, we're going to talk about going down in the description area and joining our Discord community. And joining our Discord community, it is free. And then, in the Discord community, I have a levels channel where if you want me to go over any of the other levels that I do not cover in our pre-market analysis, I'll be glad to do that. Just put that, drop a note down there and I will cover those levels. However, I do not do any penny stocks. Only stocks that are truly making money. That's why I stick with pretty much the Mag 7 and now SpaceX. People, you don't need 20 different equities to trade. You just got to find one, find out how it trades, study it, watch it, see different nuances, and then you can make your trade book off of that. And then once you join the Discord, if you want to upgrade, and you can see all of our live trading that we do from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time, you can upgrade, and there's a free day trial. And then after that, there's a monthly subscription fee. And then what's new and exciting is we are about to start marketing on top of the trading room. You can have access to our new trading indicator that it pretty much is a charting analysis tool, and it takes away a lot of the discretionary part of trading and a lot of the work that needs to go into trading while you're trading. You don't want to be sitting here. You don't want to be drawing charts while, you don't want to be drawing trend lines while the market's moving. You just want to focus on the movement of the market. And so what this indicator does for everybody here, it will, and I will fix this so we can get a good clean shot of things. It plots everything for you. And not only does it plot things for you, it identifies areas where you may consider taking a long, may consider taking a short, you may consider exiting a trade. You may get on this indicator and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to base my trade strategy not on the actual movement, but when it tells me to exit a trade. So what does this indicator do for you? So before the market opens, none of this is here. None of the purple lines, no red, no midline here, no green line. So what this does, and it will plot it for you on a 1 minute, on a 2 minute, a 5 minute, and a 15-minute chart. And it will give you your ORB range. And so this indicator is called the QOL ORB scalper, ORB opening range break scalper. And so this is not telling you when to buy, when to sell. It's telling you, it's giving you just, taking away a lot of discretion. One, it's plotting your range for you. Okay. Then not only that, it gives you a scorecard down on the bottom. So if you don't want to look at these levels right here, you can actually look down in the table here, and it will plot everything out for you on the 1 minute. And when you switch this to 2 minute, it gives you the same ranges. So look, if you watch this, 371.59, 369.61, that was the range from Friday. And then if I go to a 5 minute, you could see the range will switch, right? It's 371.73, 368.60. So $3.13 range on the 5 minute, right? And so it tells you right in here, your high, your low, and then it gives you your mid-range, and that's in the gray area, right? So some people can base their trades off of a mid-range break, anything, pre-market highs, pre-market lows. And then it gives you a grade. It gives you a grade of the range quality. Is it a good range to trade on that break? It gives you an 81. 81 is a high range. That's very good, right? And then it'll give you a long grade. Now, obviously right now, because the market, we are not in session, right? Because it says out of session down here, and then it'll identify no active trade, meaning that if you are in a trade, if it's identifying that a probability could be there for you to be in a trade, it will say active trade. It also tells you right here a grade. So it tells you a short grade. So right here, it's showing an A grade short grade. Now this is the close on Friday. So it was selling off. So it said A grade, which is 84 short. And then the trend was biased. So if you're trying to figure out what the market's doing for you at a glance, this is a beautiful table down below that you can look at. And so when the market's in session, it'll tell you when it indicates something. So if the market was in session here, it could have been, ORB short. So it's a short bias. It would activate saying you could be, right here, active trade. So it could say active trade, but then this yellow box comes in here which says exit. I call this the yellow box of death, meaning that whatever direction that it indicates that you could potentially take a trade on, it's telling you now you're wrong. Get out of that trade. Don't even mess around. And it doesn't even matter if it pops up here and you get out of the trade and then boom, it comes back down here and then hits your price level, right? It doesn't matter because it's all about probabilities. And if these probabilities add up, then you're going to be, in the long run, you're going to make your money. You can't think about yourself, oh, I remember last time it faked me out. You trade what you see, not what you think. So you could see when it's trading in a choppy zone, it's going to be a lot of noise here on a 5 minute, but if you open it up and you go longer term on a 15 minute, the 15 minute will give you something a little less noisy. And then you could see right here, even on the 15 minute, look at the 15 minute. The 15 minute gave you one signal, right? So if you're a patient trader and you're okay to just come here and do that long range, trading, 15 minute on Friday gave you one trade. And you could have sat in this trade all day and you could have been fine until they gave you an exit here. Now, what this plots for you here is, just so you know, the red is the low of the opening range. This gray is your middle. This green is your high. And it's all written down for you right here on the right side on the table, right? And then it gives you a price target. This first blue line right here is the first potential price target you could shoot for. Now, this is all, it's all predicated on ATRs, volume, and a bunch of other different things, right? And then it gives you a second price level as well. And the same thing on the downside, just so you know. First purple line is if the market's flushing, that's your first downside level. And then this dotted level down here is your second level, right? And so all very exciting stuff here. It's going to be starting to market. So the first things first, join our Discord community. And then in the Discord community, you'll get access to the live trade room from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time, where we go over all of this information. Also, if you go to our website, QOLtrading.com, put your name and email address in there to join our community. and you will get a copy of our free newsletter that we put out every Sunday. We just put out our 15th edition, and in that newsletter, we do a week in review. We do what's coming ahead. We try to cover geopolitical news, any news that's pertaining to the stocks that we cover. Pretty much Tesla-based stock is what I cover. I've been trading Tesla for years, so I focus on that level more than anything. And so I try to pay attention to any news that's surrounding Musk. And what's kind of fitting into everything right now is SpaceX, because of course Musk is, that's his baby as well. So SpaceX may be on the horizon for, what we cover mostly in the trade room. But one last thing I forgot to tell you about this indicator. This indicator, you could put this indicator on anything you want. You could put it on cryptocurrencies. You could put it on Forex. You can put it on the broader markets. You could put it on EFTs, and it'll work in the same time frames. Your 1 minute, your 2 minute, your 5 minute, and your 15 minute. So first things first, make sure you join the Discord community, and you can find that link down below it's a WAP link. And then in there, you can go through the process of joining. You can join for free and then see what's happening for free. And then if you'd like, you can upgrade to the trading desk, of which you get a 1 day free access there. So it's a no risk 1 day try. And if you like that, great. If not, there's going to be no risk for you. Anyways, so that's going to be it for today, everybody. I hope you like this video. If you do, please like this video, and then hit that thumbs up button. And then the notification button as well, right? So you can get future notifications when I do pre-market analysis or when I put out other videos. And don't be afraid to share the video. And if I don't see everybody in the trading room, I will see everybody tomorrow morning. Remember, shortened trading week. No need to mess up your holiday week. So keep it light, people. And